Hello, how we doing? And welcome back to another market review video. This week we're going to be talking about BTC mostly, as BTC starts to move into a pretty critical area now for both longs and shorts. So I think it's a pretty good time for a market review. Just to summarize my thoughts a little bit, won't be talking about altcoins too much today, mostly going to be focused on BTC, the S&P, and also Ethereum. I think BTC is going to continue to lead here, and for me there's not really much interest in altcoins. I posted about it earlier, but I don't really have much of an edge in alts at the moment. But I think there's a good chance that the likes of Fartcoin and the move Fartcoin has had lately could potentially path away for what altcoins have in store over the next couple of weeks if BTC actually goes for that breakout above 86k. So let's get into it. So yeah, BTC is going for a bit of a breakout here. Personally, 86 to 87k is a really crucial area for me. Has been basically for the past month and a half now. We've sort of failed to get above 86k for quite a while. You know, we've broken this meme line, so to speak, on BTC. This daily downtrend that we've been capped in has finally been broken. If we compare that to, you know, our summer range, we can see that once that daily downtrend was broken, we started that next leg up. Even the February bottom back in 2024, you know, we got that breakout of the daily downtrend and eventually started to leg up again. And even down here, two more examples of that price being stuck in a downtrend and starting to break up. So all in all, if this does start to break out and get above 86, 87k, I'm fairly sure BTC is going to trade to like 95 to 100, and then maybe even start its next leg up to new all-time highs coming into summer, before probably a choppy summer range. So this is a really critical place, and I think this is a good place to start to look for some reversals on BTC for some shorts back down towards like this 82k region. Personally, towards this value area high, you know, this range value area high, looking for short triggers here. Short triggers being a lot of the time like traps, longs, and a failed breakout using order flow concepts, etc., like footprint, open interest. Looking at basically a trap into 86 to 87, basically anywhere from here to here as of right now. Can't see too much signs of a trap just yet, but we've had like pretty aggressive longs into the highs all week, like pretty insane open interest build up, and basically longs have been getting punished all week. So if we do get that extra spike into like 87k, I think it's going to be a good place to short. We have pretty ugly, you know, profile below, like pretty poor lows. So we have this 3-day composite with a really poor low. We have a single print back from Friday's move, and then even our lows at 74k are pretty ugly for a complete bottom. Obviously, if the S&P decides that it wants to rally, then BTC is most likely going to follow it at this point. You know, if we look at the correlation chart or the comparison chart, we're pretty much pegged to S&P 500 right now, both BTC and ETH, basically doing tick for tick with the S&P 500. So if the S&P starts to break out and wants to start to rally back towards this 5700 region, then we're probably going to get that flip on BTC, and then we're going to have to look at chasing above here. But for now, I think this is a good place to look for a reversal, especially if we get really aggressive signs of bids getting trapped up here. We also, if we look at the VWAP values on BTC, it is the 2025 Q1 val, which I've discussed a lot here on my page, on my channel. But this is a pretty crucial area for BTC to get above. If it can accept back inside this 2025 Q1 value area low, there's a good chance it's going to trade towards like 94 and then 100 plus, like I said a minute ago. Developing yearly val, potentially going for that acceptance back inside. Again, it's going to really depend on how we react around this 86, 87k region. If we can flip above here and get acceptance back inside this developing yearly val, then we probably look at trading towards the opposing side of that again, 100k, right? So, you know, we are moving into a very crucial area here, and I do think it makes sense to look for a reversal for now, especially with the amount of imbalance we have below. We also have a weekend gap below. Tuesdays are historically, called turnaround Tuesdays. So with a weekend gap, we could see market trade back down towards that weekend gap. It sits around here. So if we go to the Friday close and draw a horizontal ray from the Friday close here, and the weekly open was here. So basically this is our weekend gap to backfill and back down towards 83k. So I think this looks like a nice place for a short if we get some triggers targeting 83 and even down into 81. A failure to hold sort of 81k, then I mean I would target a move back down to 74. But at this point I think looking for a 12k move to the downside would be quite drastic. I wouldn't expect that just yet. So overall, looking for a pop into sort of 87k to get short. I think turnaround Tuesday could be on the cards. Going to depend on the S&P. Stocks opened 25 minutes ago, so we have to see how things unfold there. Altcoin for me, if we do get a pullback into like 0.77 this week, 0.75, I think this looks like a nice place for a spot position, targeting 157 and even up to $2. Putting a pretty decent reclaim on the daily here. But to summarize, yeah, personally looking at shorts on BTC, I don't have too much of an edge in alts right now. I've just been trading BTC, scalping it intraday, and this is going to be more of a swing position for me. Looking for short triggers, and I think until 87 to 86 gets truly flipped, then we can trade back down towards at least 82 minimum, going into maybe forming a true bottom here or down here, depending if we don't hold that. Happy to write off a scenario of fresh lows if we get a flip above here, but only on a flip above here. Until then, I'm not going to base a trade because we broke from a mean line, and we've done that 1, 2, 3, 4 times before. I'm not going to do that. I want to see a strong flip first. I don't want to be one of these people trying to long like we've already seen 3 times this year. So that pretty much sums it up for today. Gonna be keeping an eye on flow, like I said, for a short position. We can already see a pretty nasty rejection and trading back towards this developing weekly value area high, which currently right now is a bit of a trend spot for BTC. But yeah, you can see right just happening right now how late longs probably getting flushed already just from such a small move down. And I think if we start to lose sort of 85k, then we're going to flush into 82, especially with the amount of open interest we've had building up this week into such a key area. So not a place for FOMO personally, but a place for looking for reversals. I'm happy to eat my words if we get a flip of 86, 87, and I will chase for a move higher. You can find all my reports, trades, and setups in the socials below. Make sure you check out the Discord, and I will see you guys around. Trying from blank episode this week. Other than that, we'll keep you guys posted. See you then.